Welcome to A Better Way to Do College, the podcast where we will explore how higher education is evolving and what it means for access, opportunity, and the communities we serve. I'm your host, Dr. Stephen Gonzales, Chancellor of the Maricopa Community Colleges, and today my guest is Robyn Julien, the CEO of the Save the Family Foundation of Arizona, which is a nonprofit dedicated to helping families overcome homelessness and poverty, and they serve more than 1,000 families each year. A key initiative of Save the Family is the Phoenix Scholar House, which is a project that will create 56 affordable housing units for single parents pursuing college degrees or career certifications, many of whom are survivors of domestic violence, and will help them break the cycle of poverty with an ecosystem of support offering access to tutoring, career counseling, personal coaching, employer connections, and financial aid guidance. Robyn has said that the Phoenix Scholar House will redefine affordable housing by starting with education first. That's why Maricopa Community Colleges is proud to be their first academic partner and why I'm so excited to speak with Robyn today. So let's explore a better way to do college. How you doing today, Robyn?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much, Dr. Gonzales, for inviting me to join you today.
I'm glad that you're here. This is, as you know, this is our very first episode and recording of a podcast that we are starting to do called A Better Way to Do College. We're bringing in leaders from around the community and people who are partners with our organization, and their organizations are partnered with ours. And this is really a chance for our internal Maricopa community to get an opportunity to get to know who our leaders in our communities are. So I'm going to be asking you some questions, and I want to get to know who you are as a person, want to know more about your organization, and then specifically about the Scholar House project that we're all really excited about. And I think that's what gave us the opportunity to meet.
Yeah, absolutely. We're so
one
excited
another.
about it as well.
Right. So tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you end up in the current role that you're in?
Sure. Well, my background is I'm a native of Arizona. I grew up in the Valley, and I started out my career as a CPA and in public accounting, and then I spent several years as a stay-at-home mom, and during that time I did a lot of strategic volunteer work. Raised money for my kids' schools and sat on different boards. And when they became old enough to not need a carpool mom, I returned to the workforce into the nonprofit world. And I knew I wanted to focus my time, efforts, and energy on raising money and being involved in families, in children, and education. And so that's what was a great fit for me with Save the Family.
Sure.
Our mission is we are all about working side by side with our families as they address poverty, overcome homelessness, and achieve self-sufficiency. And our newest program, Phoenix Scholar House, is one great way to do it, and we can't wait to get started.
Very nice. So Save the Family Foundation, you shared what its mission is, but tell us what it does, what it's doing to serve our communities, and perhaps the type of folks that you get an opportunity to work with in our community.
Sure. Well, we're celebrating our 35th year anniversary
That's
this
incredible.
year. So we've served thousands and thousands of families over the years, and we work with those that are homeless or at risk of being homeless. And the very first thing that we do is we work to find them the best housing program for their individual situation, depending on their needs and their geographic needs and all of those kinds of things. And then the really hard work begins. Our case management team works with our families on an individual, holistic approach. It's personalized for each individual family, and we provide a complete set of wraparound supportive services. And that starts with the finances.
Sure.
We sit down with them, we write a budget, we help them stick to that budget, and we help them learn exactly where they stand. And then the next piece of it is our career development team. They work with the families to help them secure employment or get a higher paying job. And that's of such critical importance, and sometimes they need an extra job or an additional part-time job on top of that. And we give them the tools that they need to get that next level of employment. We have youth and family classes to help them become better parents and to help the kids in schools. And we also have a full-time trauma therapist that assesses our families' needs when they first come into the organization And she addresses things like drug and alcohol addiction challenges, behavioral and mental health, all kinds of different challenges, tutoring for the children. And most of all, we refer our families out to those experts in the community that can help with those services as well, our partner organizations.
So when you say wraparound services, you really mean wraparound services?
Absolutely. And so many families are in unique situations. Our case managers will drive them to the pharmacy. They will drive them to a job interview.
That's incredible.
They will do whatever it takes to get those families ahead because they truly have the heart of someone that wants to help these families in need.
It's great that the city has a foundation like yours, and at the same time it's unfortunate that we need a foundation like yours. So in the 30-plus year history of Save the Family Foundation, have you seen an increase or decrease need for services, or perhaps has it stayed relatively level? What's been your experience?
Well, our experience is what everyone else in the country is experiencing. The rate of homelessness is off the charts right now. So what we do know statistically is that in the United States, 2 years ago, we had a 12% increase in homelessness.
Wow.
And then last year, an additional 18% increase in homelessness. And when we look right here in Arizona, we know that 21% of our homeless population is families with children. And that increased 15% from last year. Right here in Maricopa County, what we know is that in 2024, we had a record number of evictions, more than 87,000 evictions. So many people are affected. Our shelters are really full right now. There's not a lot of capacity, and affordable housing is really limited. There's a real need for additional affordable housing in our community.
What do you see as the number one driver of homelessness in our area?
Well, I think it's a combination of things, but I think first and foremost, although wages have increased substantially over the last few years, they haven't kept up with the rate of inflation. And what we know is that it takes a true living wage well over $30 per hour of a wage for a family of 4 to stay housed in a really basic, no-frills, 2-bedroom apartment. That's tough. And so families are looking for all kinds of different solutions to help bridge that gap.
Sure.
For
right.
many.
And so when you talk about inflation, I think it was 2 years in a row over the last few years that Maricopa County was leading the country in inflation. And ironically, we had some of the lowest inflationary rates this past year.
Sure.
So I think that still makes it difficult for people to be able to afford things when
Absolutely.
inflation is outpacing the rise in any increase in salaries, correct?
They have to make those hard choices, and sometimes there's a lot of hard choices our families have to make.
So that's an amazing foundation, and you guys are doing amazing work, and we thank you, and it just makes me feel even more proud to be a partner with you in our community, because I'm sure that many of the people that you are providing services to are likely some of our own students as well. So you and I had an opportunity to meet to discuss the Scholar House project, and that time it was an idea, and I think it was maybe a couple years ago at this point.
It was a couple years ago. You were one of our first meetings that we had, and it was great because you brought together many members of your executive team, and we brought in our top-level team, and we just had this fabulous discussion. And
sure. Well, and if I recall correctly, I think your guys' goal during that meeting was simply to get our support, to draft a letter so that you could provide to the city of Phoenix in support of the Scholar House project. As I was sitting in that meeting and learning more about the Save the Family Foundation and the Scholar House opportunity, I began to think about the possibility of serving as an educational partner. And I think that idea came up inside of that meeting, and we just kind of ran with that from there, and we've been connected at the hip ever since.
Yes.
So for the folks that don't know what the Scholar House is, tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, that meeting was all about getting that application approved. It's a very competitive process, and so your team's assistance with that helped us quite a bit. And one of the things that struck out to me in that meeting is one of your team said the number one request we have for emergency funding from our students is for housing, and that really hit home. The Phoenix Scholar House is a new and innovative education program, and the focus is on education. And Save the Family is the only organization in Arizona that offers this program. And we are affiliated with a nonprofit Family Scholar House out of Kentucky that has been successfully running this program for decades. So they have thousands and thousands of success stories. Our Phoenix Scholar House is set to open in March of 2026, so we're just completing construction. And it will be located at 18th Place and Thomas, just north of Phoenix Children's Hospital in the heart of the city, and it's a great location. It will be 56 units, and all of them will be affordable housing, but 20 of those units are dedicated to the Scholar House model. And that's that intensive education program. And so it's a process. There are many different requirements. It is focused on single parents that want to increase or improve their education and take it to the next level in hopes of earning a higher wage. The goal is all about economic security for those families so that they can eventually be self-sustaining and self-reliant, and so that they can end that generational poverty. The requirements are all about a single parent with a child or children under the age of 18. They must have their high school diploma or GED, and they must be enrolled in school or working on getting enrolled. And then they will work with our team and with your team to get the proper placement in school and get the things that they need to make that happen. We know that education is a great solution to help lifting our families up out of poverty.
Well, that's wonderful. I had an opportunity to attend the groundbreaking ceremony, and it was well attended, and it was a really exciting day.
That was wonderful.
Nice
We
sunny
can't wait.
day. Right.
Looks a little different now.
I would love to drive by and see it now, and I'm looking forward to
Sure.
the actual ribbon cutting that I'm sure you'll have
That's
sometime
great,
next
yes.
spring. When you talk about single parents, is it open to single moms, single dads?
Yes.
Both?
Yes.
Okay.
There is a limit to the amount of income. For the Scholar House units, those 20 units, those need to be at below 30% of the area median income.
Okay.
And people can learn about that on our website as well.
Excellent. I think I read in an interview that you once had that 94% of the people who come through your program end up in a situation where they now have sustainable housing and they're able to move from a housing insecurity to being housing secure. And so tell us a little bit more about that.
Sure. Well, we're really proud of our success rate. It's not quite 94%, but
Okay.
it's around 85%.
That's still
great. And that's
great.
after people work the program, and when they exit the program, they have secured permanent housing. And the important part of that is they have to do the hard work. We're there to guide them and help them. We find that the families that are most successful are the ones that work all aspects of the program intensely.
Yep. And some of those aspects of the program are some of the things that you mentioned
Yes.
earlier about getting involved in financial planning, taking advantage of any counseling if it's needed, ensuring that there's, the children are attending school and participating
Yes.
in community and things like that. Anything else that if someone wanted to participate, what are they signing up for?
For the Scholar House, they're signing up for an intensive education program that provides them with a lot of opportunities. And we take a good amount of time. It's a couple of months for the pre-residential process. And we do that to make sure they're serious students. And they'll thoroughly understand exactly what that is once they start in on the program and learn more about it.
Robyn, if you had a magic wand that you could wave today and use that to solve one of the problems in the space that you work in, what might that be?
Oh, wow, that's a great question. Well, I think first and foremost, we know that the families that are most successful are the ones that work the hardest. And so we would have more and more opportunities, more funding to be able to serve more families. That's always tricky. The funding varies from year to year. The Scholar House is just getting going, and we would love to build more Scholar Houses in the future throughout the Valley. We see that as a great solution for homelessness and for our families that are at risk. So expanding our operations, one of our goals is to really increase the number of families that we serve.
Sure.
And the best way we do that is through partnerships, like our partnership with Maricopa Community Colleges, and we have other partners throughout the community that we work very closely with as well.
Robyn, I'm sure over the years that you've had an opportunity to encounter many people in the community, especially those coming through your program. Are there any that stand out for you that are particularly moving or just, really warm your heart when you think about them, or
Sure.
you're really proud of?
We have a lot of great success stories, and I wanted to tell you about Regina and Gary. They are a mom and a dad who have 3 children, and they came into our organization because they became homeless as a result of a job loss. And that's really common for many of our families. But it wasn't only the job loss that happened. They had a lot of different barriers. So they had an eviction judgment against them. The father had a misdemeanor conviction for possession of drugs. They had car debt, credit card debt, lots of different things stacked against them. And when they first arrived, it was about a year and a half ago, combined they had an income of about $40,000. And so the first thing our organization did was work to find them the best housing situation for them. That's first and foremost, to get them housed in a stable situation. And then our team went to work. Our case management team supplied all of the supportive services. We started with a budget. They each had jobs, and they each got higher paying jobs, and they each got promotions while they were with us. By the end of the 12 months that they were with us, they were bringing in about $68,000 of income, a huge increase. Since they left us, they had another promotion, and when they did exit our program, they were able to secure a 3-bedroom rental apartment of their own. So they are on their feet, they're stable, and they're ready to move forward with that next right step and help build some additional stability for their family.
That's an amazing story. I'm really proud of them.
It's great. I mean, they had a lot of things stacked against them, and we worked very closely with them to try and help them turn that around. But they did the hard work.
Yeah.
It's a tough journey, but the reward is immense.
I think that I've read recently that the average American may have $1,000 on average in savings account. So the notion that any one of us could never be in a situation like that. Some might say some people are a paycheck away from being in a situation where losing a vehicle, losing housing, losing something is a reality. What is your perspective on that?
We see that all the time. One unexpected expense throws everything off, and that's kind of a spiral, a domino effect. And so we have that with our families all the time, and that's why they need a break. They need someone to support them, to get them through this tough time. We don't provide support for our families forever. Right. It's a temporary program. It's about a year. Most families are with us for about a year. And it's very strategic. It's monthly or bi-monthly meetings to make sure that they stay on track. And our case management team is always checking in with them, making sure that they're okay. Sometimes they need a little emergency assistance, and we're able to supply that as well. But you're right, it's one unexpected expense, and sometimes you never know what that is. If someone runs into you in your car, you no longer have a car, and then you've got medical bills, and it just piles on top of each other. So it's really tough for so many people out there.
Well, we have approximately 12,000 employees and a couple 100,000 students who come to, nearly a couple 100,000 students who come to Maricopa colleges. So I can say I'm hopeful that thousands of people are going to listen to this podcast. Some may be in a position where they're inspired. I think we're all inspired by what you've been sharing, but some may be inspired and perhaps even compelled to want to assist somehow, some way. How would they do that with Save the Family Foundation?
Well, we would love for them to assist us, and they can check out our website, savethefamily.org. We have lots of volunteer opportunities. We do a lot of fun things around the holidays, and that's right around the corner. So some small way that they can get involved is we have an Adopt a Family program for both Thanksgiving and the winter holidays.
Sure.
And as you can imagine, the holidays are expensive for all of us. And for our families who are on a really tight budget, there are no extra dollars to make the holidays special for them. And so our donors and our supporters step in to help make that a truly fun and fantastic time of the year for our families.
What would you want to share with us that maybe somebody wouldn't know unless you volunteered that? We take personal confessions in Maricopa.
Okay, well, I think one of the things I've thought about is it's important for people that are challenged right now to not be afraid to ask for help. I had a situation many years ago in which I needed some help, and I was afraid to ask for it, and I finally did, and I found it so comforting. People want to help those that will help themselves, that will work hard. And so I would say don't hesitate to ask friends, family, neighbors, counselors, those people that you know. Also, knowledge is power, so the more information you can gain about your particular situation, the more helpful. That's why we start with a budget, and we gain that knowledge so we know where we stand. And we're just so fortunate to have so many wonderful things in the community, in the valley here, a lot of people that want to help. And Save the Family wants to help people get back on their feet as well.
I think that's great advice. You know, I would put myself in the category that whether it's a sense of pride or fear or perhaps it's culture, the notion of asking for help can be one of the most difficult questions to ask. So I appreciate you sharing that, and hopefully anyone who's watching out there or listening would feel comfortable and maybe more inspired to ask for help that they needed based on what you shared. My final question for you would be, what can Maricopa Community Colleges do to better serve your organization?
Well, that's a great question, and I think we're well on our way right now. I think communication is key. We've got great communication between our organizations. This podcast is an example of getting information out into the community, and we'll share it with our group, and you'll share it with yours, and you and your team are already sharing a lot of information about Phoenix Scholar House out to your student and faculty base, so that's really important to get that word out there. And we look forward to many years to come of working together and working on all of these different issues that are so important to all of us.
Well, thank you so much. We are really looking forward to our continued partnership. Again, I want to thank you, Robyn, for being here today on the very first edition of A Better Way to Do College podcast. And I want to wish you well and your organization well. And again, we appreciate your partnership. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We appreciate it as well. Thank you.